cooking the turkey, one of the most dangerous parts of Thanksgiving, because one wrong move and you become part of the family group chat, or you become a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation meme. And you guessed it, today we're going to smoke a turkey and we're going to carve it carefully. And I'm convinced that people who say they prefer a fried turkey or roasted turkey, that they've never had a juicy, smoked, flavorful turkey before. They've really only experienced the dry, overdone turkey. So today we are aiming for the most flavorful and most juicy turkey that you've ever tasted in your life. Hey, welcome back to Grill Pastor, where we're bringing barbecue to life. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and comment below what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is. Anyway, enough talking. Let's roll the intro and let me show you how I got this turkey seasoned. Here we have a 14.5-pound turkey that we're going to be injecting with some Tony Chachere's Cajun Creole butter. Now feel free to make your own if you like, but this is going to add some serious flavor into the meat, and it's going to add some really good moisture. Now, you could also soak this in a brine bath, but if you buy a turkey from your local grocery store, you're going to see on the package that it already has been soaked in some sort of salt solution, so it's not completely necessary to do it again. So we're going to inject this into all parts of the turkey about every inch or so, and be sure to get the legs and the wings too. That way we can be sure that the flavoring gets distributed all throughout. Next is a combination of kosher salt, black pepper, thyme, sage, and paprika. You'll want to sprinkle this all around the outside of the turkey and rub some as far as you can go under the skin as well, and even sprinkle it into the cavity so that we get maximum flavor and a little extra dry brining from the kosher salt. We will tuck the legs under, or you can use some butcher twine to tie them together. And we're also going to tuck these wings under as well and refrigerate the turkey for 1 to 2 days. Okay, it's been a couple days, and before we start our coals, be sure you remove your turkey from the refrigerator 1 to 2 hours before you're going to start cooking it, which we've already done. So today we're going to be using the Weber kettle again, which I call the Grill God. Now you could use an offset smoker, you could use a pellet smoker, whatever you have. Basically the process is going to be the same. So we're going to be shooting for about 225 to 250 degrees inside the grill or your smoker. And then about an hour and a half later, about 2 hours later, we're going to bump the temperature up to about 300 degrees. So we're going to cook this bird till about 162 degrees inside the breast meat, because when you take it off the smoker, it's going to have some carryover cook. It's going to get it up to at least 165, which is the safe way to cook your turkey. If you go any higher than that, you're going to end up drying out your bird. So let's go get our coals started, and I'm going to be showing you a pretty cool technique that we're going to be using on the Weber to smoke this turkey. For this low and slow cook, we're going to be using what's called the snake method. I'm only going to get about 8 to 9 coals lit to start with using a Royal Oak tumbleweed. These make starting coals so easy. Just light up the tumbleweed and place the chimney starter right on top. Now for this snake method, we'll essentially line up the unlit coals around the edge of the grate like dominoes, but touching. I'll just pour a bunch of coals in the grill to get started. This is essentially going to be a 2x1 snake. That means 2 rows on the bottom and 1 row on top. I'm even going to add some wood chunks spaced out along the way so that we can get some good smoke flavor rolling as the coals burn around. I suggest using a fruit wood with poultry as it's a lighter smoke, and I'm using apple wood chunks today. Next, I'm going to place my Vortex upside down in the middle to aid in keeping any direct heat from hitting the turkey. Then I'm going to place a disposable pie tin in the middle and add some really hot water to it to keep moisture in the air. Now it's time to add the lit coals to the beginning of the snake. Then let's get the grill grate back on top. Now these coals will burn slowly around the edge of the grill, literally for hours. I once got 13 hours on a snake when smoking a brisket. To monitor our temperatures today, I'm using my ThermoPro thermometer. It has 4 temperature probes and uses Bluetooth, so we can watch the temperature in the grill and the meat temperature at the same time. Let's get this turkey on now on the opposite side of the lit coals. I've also stuffed the turkey cavity with a quartered onion and apple, which will add a little bit of moisture, flavor, and help even out the cook. Let's get the lid back on the top vent on the opposite side as well, the lit coals, and I'll use the vents to control the temperature. That breast meat has hit 162 on both sides, so let's get this thing off the smoker. Guys, I gotta tell you, this thing looks and smells delicious. Now we're gonna lightly tint the turkey with foil, and we're gonna let it rest for about 30 minutes or so before we carve it. All right, now that this old bird has rested for about 30 minutes, it's time to carve into it. I'm using my electric knife. I'm gonna carve down the bone of the breast meat so that we can cut out the whole turkey breast. Once we do that on one side, we'll also do it on the opposite side. Again, we're gonna cut right down the bone, and then we're gonna come back up underneath so that we can get the whole piece of the breast meat off the turkey. Just take a look down at those juices inside the turkey. Now, once you've got the turkey breast cut off, you can start cutting the legs off and even get down to the wings and cut those off as well. We cut the whole breast off so that we can carve it across the grain. Doing so will give you a much more tender bite. Now, let's pull out one of these pieces and see how juicy this thing is. All right, let's see how this tastes. Oh yeah. All those herbs and that injection that you can taste it right now in the first bite. The smoky flavor is not overpowering, but man, it's in there for sure. And one of the best things I love about smoked turkey is leftovers. The next day, all of those flavors, the smoke has really just sunk in there, and man, it's so good. You know, here's what I've learned in life and in barbecue. The more carefully that you carve, the better the outcome. When you cut with kindness and patience and intention, you end up serving something people actually want to come back for. And guys, that's true in food and relationships. So carve carefully and keep the drama off the dinner table. Because honestly, the only thing that ought to be roasted or smoked today is the turkey. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, or share it with one of your favorite turkey carvers. And don't forget, let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite go-to dish? Mine is not one, but two. I love turkey and I love stuffing combined together into one bite. Well guys, that's it for this episode of Grill Pastor, where we're bringing barbecue to life. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.